First of all, many thanks to you to give me one more opportunity to discuss a very important topic, which is actually catching a lot of headlines across the globe, if you have noticed. It is about a natural geological resource called rare earth. And the world did not know much about rare earth till mid 1940s. They not even heard about it much till scientists, atomic scientists, they identified a family of 17 rare earths, which are present in the Earth's crust. In some countries more, and in some countries less. Now, about 50 years back, that is 1970s, the world became aware that rare earths have got special properties, special physical properties by which they can immensely improve the performance of and compactness of electronic equipment. So in mid 70s, the world industries I knew that rare earth is something very special and we can benefit from it by utilizing in our semiconductor industry. As such, in 70s, semiconductor industry was revolutionizing electronic equipment. Many of you will, there are few engineers here, you will remember only by mid 70s, transistor came, many applications came, be it for communication, be it for television. Television came a little later in our country. But electronics was picking up and gathering a lot of momentum. Now, you find suddenly rare earth can improve it further, make it compact, make it versatile. So semiconductor industry started looking for rare earth elements. So from now onwards, I will call rare earth as RE. And if I'm talking about that one of the 17 elements, I will say REE, that is rare earth element. Now, the demand for RE elements slowly increased from 1980s. Just remember this date, 1980s onwards, demand started rising for rare earth elements. And there were a few countries who had the resource, geological resource, and they immediately set up infrastructure which will do the metallurgical process of removing the rare earth from the earth's crust. Earth's crust is like an ore, like a mineral. So from that you have to remove this rare earth. And they set up the infrastructure for it so that they can supply to electronic industries around the globe. What did India do? India also has got a fair share of rare earth, but we did not initiate any action to set up infrastructure or industry or R&D in this process. India was in a slumber, a rare earth slumber. They didn't wake up. But many decades later, sometime, say, let's say 15 years back, they woke up and then say, oh, we have to catch up with the rest of the earth, rest of the world, I'm sorry. And that is the story I'm going to tell you. India's story of rare earth, how we suddenly woke up sometime in 2010 and then tried to catch up with the rest of the world for items which are so important today for semiconductor industry. You're all aware India started setting up the infrastructure for the semiconductor industry as well. So we are going to discuss this story, very small story, of course, but you know that we lost a lot of time in not initiating any action when other countries had started doing it. Same thing happened in semiconductor also. We did not do anything in 1980s when other countries started making semiconductor products. So with this, I will upload my presentation. Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you the story of India's rare earth story, which was dormant at some time, but now it's becoming a very vibrant industrial activity. So let us see that. So this is a graph. Just want to see, can you see this graph from 1955 to 2010? You see, it's only from 1980s the world started waking up. This is rare earth production. And after the 80s, it shot up. And the pink color, which is occupying a major area in this graph, pertains to China. China set up so much of infrastructure for rare earth, and they almost conquered the entire global market. Scientists had identified sometimes by 1940s all the rare earth, but it's only in the last 40 years rare earth started coming into semiconductor industry. So they set up huge facilities. That means you got some ores taken, then they have to be mined first, then they have to be separated, then they have to be processed, then they have to be refined. All these infrastructure they set up for the different types of rare earth, and they were the global leaders very soon to supply for the entire world. Almost 90% was being supplied by China for semiconductor industry. I want to spend a minute on what is meaning of rare. It is earth, all right, but why rare earth? Not because rare earth is found in small quantities. It is the process of getting the element is rare as compared to other minerals. So it is for the process which is involved, the chemical process, the physical process, etc. And therefore, it was given the name, this family was given the name, family of rare earths, family of rare earth elements. As I told you, there are 17 of them. We will not go into great detail about the names, but the first rare earth was found in 1788 in a stone quarry in Sweden. And the that particular rare earth which was picked up in that quarry, which was accidentally seen by a Swedish army person, was given the name Yttrich. And thereafter, the scientists started looking at Earth's crust more and more. And by 1947, they identified 17 number and give them atomic number. So if you look at the periodic table, which all of us have seen in chemistry classes in the school, if you look at the periodic table, the 17 number rare earth elements are marked separately. And a study of their atomic structure by scientists revealed 9 of them are heavy rare earth and 8 of them are light rare earth. This depends upon the number of paired electrons inside. So I'm not going into that detail. But heavy earth is more efficient. Light rare earth is not that efficient by way of its physical properties. And we'll see the physical properties as we go along. So rare earth, if you want rare earth, if you get heavy, very good. If you're not having heavy, try and manage with light rare earth. That was the approach which many countries have taken now. But when it is identified, somewhere having a different atomic configuration, they were called heavy. Some, the balance were called light. Now, rare earth have got a chemical problem. If you separate them, process them, refine them, and you keep it open, they will immediately become rare earth oxide. They will react with oxygen and become an oxide. So if you want to have pure rare earth, you have to encapsulate them, seal them, airtight containers, etc. So this is one special chemical feature of rare earth. You have to always keep them in airtight containers so that they don't oxidate, they don't form the oxides. They are not found in pure form in earth. They're always found in the form of oxide. Some are found in the form of chloride also, which are very close to seawater. So unlike some of the pure form minerals, gold, silver, copper, they all appear, you can identify them as pure minerals in Earth's crust. These cannot be identified as pure rare earth element. They'll always be seen as oxide. Just remember that. So let us go to, this is a list of 17. We are not looking at, this is the year in which they have been discovered. The last was discovered in 1947. As I mentioned, they have some special properties. And the properties which are special is magnetic strength. You make a magnet out of rare earth, it has got phenomenal strength. We'll discuss a little more into this later, but they have great magnetic strength. They have photoluminescence. That means they emit light when they are impinged with the electron beam, which is of huge importance in many applications today in LED TV, LED lights, and many other displays. So photoluminescence is important. They don't get corroded fast. It's a great advantage which gives them life. And they also have, they're able to withstand high temperatures. They are light and they're able to withstand very high temperatures. So wherever you have applications in very high temperature, example, nuclear reactor, jet engines, I'm giving a couple of examples. Where the temperatures are high, if you want to use rare earth, then that will withstand that high temperature easily than other minerals. So these were the physical properties which attracted requirement of rare earth to the industries. So what happened? They were required for electronic equipment, LED lights. They wanted for wind turbines. Solar panels were using rare earth. Fighter aircrafts, engines, nuclear power plant. Refineries were using them as catalysts because they could be working at a very high temperature. Sports goods were making rare earth because they were light and strong. So if you picked up some tennis racket or badminton racket, they had rare earth included in the material, which enabled them to be light and strong. Healthcare equipment, MRI, PET scan, you're familiar with all this. They all require powerful magnets. So you could use rare earth and make powerful magnet. Still the size was small for the MRI or for a PET scan. This enabled healthcare equipment to be compact, as well as they were able to get the clarity in the image because of their magnetic power. So rare earth was much in demand in healthcare. So I have given you some of the important applications. And today, rare earth plays an important role in climate action because you want solar panel, you want wind turbines, etc. So rare earth is much in demand and it is going to play a great role in global energy transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy. Today, if you take a EV car, which requires a large number of electrical and electronic components, 5 kg of REs are used. Just remember, if you buy an EV car, it will have almost 5 kgs of rare earths in different magnets, different battery consoles, many other applications regarding photoluminescence, dashboard, this, that, etc. A fighter aircraft uses 400 kgs. Why? Because the jet engine turbine blades are made with rare earth, which gives them the strength to withstand high temperature. They are light. Of course, light means aircraft is also light. So it is light, it's strong, and it can withstand high temperature. Much in demand for jet engines. A warship uses nearly 2.3 tons, and a submarine uses around 4.5 tons of rare earth today. So you realize that for many military equipment, defense equipment, aerospace, satellites, healthcare equipment, rare earth is required. Every country requires it. Every manufacturer requires it. If you don't have it, you have to depend on somebody else to give you the rare earth. So what is the global scenario? I'm just saying, rare earth was estimated around the globe less than 37, 38 billion tons. But in next 40 years, the estimation went up because every country started looking at the geological survey, identifying where there is rare earth. India also did that. And by mid 80s, realized that the world had huge stock of rare earth, which had to be mined and extracted and processed and refined. But every country did exploration to find out whether they have rare earth. Almost 110 million tons of rare earth has been estimated. And you've seen the estimation has gone up because every country started exploring whether they have rare earth. And the major share today is in China. 45% of rare earth asset, wealth, ores are in China. So China has got a global leading role as far as rare earth is concerned for supply. On top of it, they got a lot of infrastructure to do the refining and processing, etc. So they are becoming a very, very powerful nation for rare earth supply. And we'll talk about this problem as we go along with respect to India, which has got only 6% of global reserve. That's not bad. 6% is also all right out of 110, 112. So it's very close to about 6.5 or 6.7 million tons. So let's go forward and see. The rare earth reserve, I'm showing you the first three countries. China, I already told you. Next is Vietnam. Next is Brazil. And so on. It comes to Russia and then India, etc. It goes. Look at the countries like USA. Very small reserve. USA had to depend upon other countries for rare earth, right? And they were depending on China for many, many years. Now things have become difficult. That's why you read in the paper, China's policy and US policy on minerals is having a lot of problems in supply. Australia, lower than India. And Greenland, you look at it, more than USA. No wonder USA is looking at Greenland, whether he can annex it or whether he can become a part of USA. And Canada also has got some stock, etc. So let us look at what are the global rivers. Highest is China, I've told you. Second is Vietnam, Brazil, I've told you. India is at rank 5. Australia, USA lower. But an important point I want to make here. The above chart, which I got from the US Geological Survey document, does not show one country which has got a lot of reserve because they're not shared the data. Perhaps they're not explored or they are not communicating to the World Geological Organization, that is Myanmar. Myanmar, as we see later, has got huge stock, but they don't have any facility, they don't have anything, infrastructure. So their neighbor, China, is taking all the minerals from Myanmar. Must be paying some money in the form of maybe dollar, maybe military equipment, or whatever other economic assistance, but they are taking away all the minerals pertaining to rare earth to China, who have got a lot of infrastructure, I told you. So this Myanmar is missing here in this study, but it will come later in a subsequent slide. So there's a 3-stage process to manufacture RE from an ore. If you want to make a product with RE, I will show you this 3-stage product. First is it's called upstream. Just to give the name, first is upstream. They will explore whether they have, then they will mine it, they will extract the oxide by some physical method, some segregation, some sieving, etc., etc. They will separate the RE oxide. Then comes midstream. They will refine the oxide, try to remove the oxygen by some chemical method. And then moment they get the Re, as I told you, they will seal it so that it doesn't become oxide again, and then mix it with some other metal to make an alloy. The entire product is not made of rare earth. Rare earth is mixed with maybe with aluminum, maybe with iron, maybe with silver, whatever is required for that product. It is mixed along with it, and then you will get an alloy. Then comes downstream, where you make components out of that alloy. And one of the most common rare earth product is permanent magnet. Nearly 75% of rare earth produced in the world is used for making permanent magnets. As I told you, permanent magnets are required for uh, wind turbines, they are required for EV cars, they are required for nuclear reactors, they are required for many defense equipment, many electronic equipment where permanent magnets are used. This upstream, midstream, downstream, the three stages. Where are we, India, in this? I will be referring to this at that time. But remember, upstream is to get oxide, midstream is to get the Re and alloy, and third is downstream is to get the product, which, as I told you, permanent magnet is the maximum. So this midstream and downstream will be different for different type of REs. I told you there are 17 REs. We're not going into the names of those, but each will have a different type of process, a different type of infrastructure, different type of chemical uh, process in that. So upstream is almost common: mining, exploring, mining, and sieving, and etc. Physical thing. But chemical is different for each RE. So look at this. This is from World Mining Data, 2025 World Mining Data. China has produced, I have written there, about 2.55 million tons. 66% came from China. The world production in 2023. You look at Myanmar, which was not there in the earlier graph. Nearly 15% comes from Myanmar. And Myanmar doesn't have any facility. He has got only the earth. China comes and mines it and takes it away. So net result is China has got 66 plus 14, 80% of rare earth available to him for making the products which he wants. Next comes United States, which doesn't have much reserve, but nearly 11% is coming from USA as far as production is concerned. And India production is only 0.67% in 2023. In 2023 data, which has been published by World Mining Data in 2025, India's contribution less than 1%. China, along with Myanmar, has got 80%. So India has to import. There is no stock of products in India. But we need to look at this, how this can be reversed, how it can be improved. Even though India is making 2,600 tons, 2,600 tons of rare earth product, it corresponds to only 0.67% of the global production, less than 1% of global production. So we are not a global leader, but we are able to make some rare earth products for ourselves, which we are using. And we will see that in subsequent slide. But you're not able to do all the things which you want. So let us look at why are we so low in production? Is it because we don't have wealth? We don't have the mineral wealth for specific REs? Is it because we don't have the infrastructure to mine and separate and process the Re oxide? Is it upstream problem, midstream problem, or downstream problem? Where is the problem in India? And even though we got 6%, why are we not becoming a little more significant player in rare earth production in the world? These are the questions which come to our mind. So let us look at India's RE condition. This is a very important slide, and I would like to. India has got about 10. I'm not able to see the number. I think it is 8. India has got about 8 rare earths in India. And as I told you earlier, rare earths are light as well as heavy, depending on their atomic structure. Heavy is desirable, but we have 2 of them in small quantities in Rajasthan and Jharkhand, etc. But light we have in different places. Now, when we look at this, we are a LREE rich country, light rare earth rich country. Our heavy is very low, so we will not consider that. But global countries are looking for heavy. So we have a situation, what we have doesn't meet the global requirement. They're looking at where can we get heavy, because that is a little more powerful, a little more compact, and therefore equipment, be it fighter aircraft, be it ship or EV, etc., it becomes useful. India's majority of availability of earth, rare earth, is in beach sand in the coast of Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Orissa, etc. So whatever minerals we have, some are used for titanium production, illuminite, then some are for ceramics, some are for jewelry, some are for foundry. Rutile is again for titanium. It may ring a bell with many of you. Kerala, KMRL, if you remember, it produces rutile, and which is from which titanium can be extracted. So, not looking at rutile, we are looking at beach sand. And I will tell you, beach sand has got in India monazite. Monazite is available in large quantity. 50 to 60% of RE is in monazite, which is found in the beach. So if you take beach sand and do segregation, and if you can do all the physical process, you will be able to get the RE oxide. So monazite, if you mine from our beach, then we will be able to get the RE oxide. Now, once you get the RE oxide, then you have to go to chemical process and get the RE. Now, this monazite, which is there in the beach sand, also contains thorium and some phosphorus, not some phosphorus, 25% phosphorus pentoxide. But you remember about thorium. Monazite, which is in the beach sand, has got thorium apart from rare earth. We want rare earth, but thorium is also there, which also we want, as we'll see in the next slide. So, but there's a problem. We'll come to that. So, thorium, when you handle, there's radioactivity. This was one of the reasons why India did not want to do any mining, did not want to do any upstream activity on rare earth almost till 2005 and 6, because thorium is there and that will cause radioactivity. People who are doing the mining will get affected, and therefore we will not do it. There's one more reason. I'll come to that in the next slide. But remember, main source is beach sand, but it has got thorium lying inside it. So I'm just showing an old postage stamp, which was released in 1955. And that stamp was to highlight that India has set up a company called Indian Rare Earth Limited. So way back in 1955, government had realized that we need to extract some rare earth at that point of time. But somehow that momentum got lost. So let us see why. So this PSU was formed in 1950. The stamp came out in 1955. And it commences operations in Kerala, in Chavara, Alway, and one more place it started. And they started doing beach mining. Now, this radioactivity was careful, so we will not do too much of mining. But they expanded their operations to Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha coast. They set up a separate plant in Orissa to do upstream process for some REs in Orissa. In 2013, something interesting happened globally. Japan wanted some rare earth elements, and China was supplying it. There was an accident between a Japanese ship and a Chinese ship. They are commercial ships, not warships, in the sea near Japan. Japan protested against this action. They say the accident was caused by Chinese ship, which had no business to be in the Japanese sea. China did, okay, you're blaming us for this. Stop export of rare earth to you. So in 2010, Chinese stopped the export to Japan and said, we are not giving you any more rare earth of this category. Japan was in problem. Their industry was getting affected. They're not getting rare earth, which is required for electronic equipment, which is required for many other equipment for defense and aerospace. So they approached India saying, we know that your beaches have got this rare earth. We will help you to start a plant in Visakhapatnam, Vizag. And in 2013, they set up a plant with the help of a company called Toyota Tsusho Corporation. Now, this corporation set up the plant to extract a particular type of mineral from beach sand. On closer study, it was realized it was not rare earth. They wanted rutile, which gives titanium oxide, which is required for industries. So they set up the plant in Vizag, used our ore, did the certain process of physical process upstream they did, and that items went to Japan for further processing. So ilmenite, which was found in beach sand, was used by Japan for to tide over their problems. Now, today IREL is only company in India, only industry, PSU of course, which can do rare earth mining, processing, production, etc. They have a mining capacity as shown here, nearly 100 lakhs tons, that's 1 crore tons. They can process the RE concentrate, that is oxide, so many tons production they can do. Final RE 2,500 tons they can do, and they're doing it. If you look at the production of IREL, it is like this. In 1 odd year, they had some extra production that was actually including some of the items which were sent to Japan. Now, they have 7 plants now in different parts of India, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Orissa. And they are able to do midstream and downstream for 2 LREs. I'm not going to bore you with the name. It is written there. And both these have got fantastic applications in electronic equipment, permanent magnets, defense systems, healthcare equipment. And IREL is able to make 2,500 tons in a year, which is not enough for us, but they are making 2,500 tons. This 2,500 tons is only 50% of our requirement, while the rest of the imports of REs are coming from abroad. Out of the rest which is coming from abroad, 67% is from China, two-thirds is from China. So we are still dependent on China for rare earth, which we are not able to produce in the country adequately because infrastructure is not made. Why has it happened like this? So we need to re-strategize how to set up infrastructure, how to increase our production, how to depend less on imports, especially China. And we have to be more self-sufficient because it is affecting our climate action programs, renewable energy programs, defense equipment, aerospace equipment, etc. So I'm going to show you uh, one small 1 minute process which is done. These are magnet balls made in India out of a rare earth called neodymium. Now, when you want to make this mixture is taken of RE with some bromine, hydrochloric acid, put through a series of heating and cooling and powdering and encapsulating and magnetizing, then pressing it hard. Finally, it'll become half the size. I'm just telling you. There's a series of process, chemical as well as physical process, by which the size becomes reduced by 50%. And then it is cut into shapes you want. You want a magnet like a horseshoe. You want a magnet like a rectangle. You want a magnet like a rod. You want a magnet like a sphere, like it is here. Then that is cut by machines and coated with copper so that it doesn't get oxidized. And then these have got applications depending on the shape in EVs and turbines and etc., medical equipment. The the permanent magnet made by this RE can lift 1,000 times the weight of the magnet. Doesn't happen in normal magnets to the extent that you can lift something which is 1,000 times heavier than the magnet itself. It has got huge applications in the various things which I have enumerated there. So our IREL is able to make, as I told you, 2,500 tons, which is almost 50% of our requirement. Balance is imported, and the imported one, two-thirds is coming from China. So how can India become a major player in rare earth? So steps to be taken by India is what I'm going to highlight. These are the various applications of rare earth. We have already talked about it in various groups. The steps which have to be taken is increase domestic production, very simple. Export beyond the only PSU, expand beyond the only PSU, for selling it. Now it's only one industry, one PSU making it. So we should expand more. We should go into more companies. We should be able to do it. That is one action. Perhaps you can even go to private companies, which you're not done. There are many reasons why you're not going to private companies, primarily because issues were environmental aspects, then there was radioactivity. So government said, let's not get any private company into this, just confined to only IREL, which has been doing this job for last 50, 70 years. So let them continue doing it, even if it is 2,500 tons, it's all right. But now we're finding the difficulty of getting items. Second strategy which India should do, India can only make LRE, because that's the mineral wealth we have. But many global applications require HRE. So you should innovate applications using LRE to substitute HRE so that we can get more exports made from India. We can be more, we can design equipment with LRE, so therefore we are self-reliant. So we should do a lot of innovation to bring LRE into the application. HRE, as I told you, we should minimize. We should remove this imports from risky sources. If Japan can be penalized by China in some action, we can also get penalized by China on rare earth. So we should be prepared because it affects our electronic manufacture. We are setting up electronic manufacture in the country by spending more than 1 lakh crore rupees. 1 lakh crore. And then you suddenly find going ahead of the production, we are not able to get the rare earth which is required. Then we'll be in problem. We have to find a different supply source. We have to look for other countries, and we are coming to that point. If required, take technological assistance from other countries. Australia, Canada, USA, Russia, they all have set up facilities and they're producing more than what India is producing. Take their help. They're not inimical to India. They will give help if required, have some sort of transfer of technology, set up facilities in India, but it is required in a hurry. So IRL production I've already talked about to you. So why did IRL slow down so much is what I'm going to tell you. First is radioactivity and environmental considerations. People went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said no more mining in the beaches. Then they said, okay, mining only by public sector. Some governments formed 2-3 PSUs unrelated to mining and one private company and made a PSU. And then they started mining. You are aware of this case which is going on in Kerala. So there were a lot of impediments for the progress of rare earth production. Second is high thorium content prohibited mining till almost middle of 2010. Then they opened it up for 4-5 years. Again, they closed it. No. We will not allow private companies to come and do mining. They are permitted for 4-5 years. And they said, no more beach mining by private companies. So even now, beach mining is not permitted by private companies. But they wanted thorium. Now comes the problem. IREL's boss is Department of Atomic Energy because it was started like that in 1955. IREL's boss is Department of Atomic Energy. Atomic Energy wants thorium because you are aware, thorium run power plants are going to come, and the first plant is doing trials in Kalpakkam. We talked about it in some earlier talk. So now they are going to expand the number of thorium run plants in India in the next 25 years. So they want large quantities of thorium as nuclear fuel. This thorium will be used along with spent uranium and combined, and then they will be used as nuclear fuel. So atomic energy didn't bother about rare earth. They said thorium. Thorium is important. And IREL was running that agenda, neglecting rare earth and looking more at thorium extraction, thorium refining, getting a better quality of thorium, etc., etc. So their best efforts went in thorium generation, and rare earth got left behind. Till middle of 2000, I told you 2013, Japanese technology came, and then they realized they can do. So we lost a lot of time, about 40 to 50 years we lost because of obsession of Department of Atomic Energy for thorium and not pursuing other rare earths. Anyway, the world started looking at rare earth only from 1980. But when they woke up, we were far, far behind, and now we are trying to catch up. So I told you earlier, we can get only 50% from IREL. We need to find better ways of increasing production. Maybe we can bring private sector also into this, and that's what the government has to do. So I just want to show you, for those of you who had not looked at the periodic table, whatever I've written in black is LRE. These are the LREs, and whatever is written in red, 9 of them are HREs. Those who are interested can have a look at it later. we should innovate and export with LRE. HRE is better, as I told you, but we have to manage with LRE. That's a disadvantage, but we can manage and get more applications within India as well as for export. And this is something, another part of the strategy. So strategy is make more industry like IREL, start a PSU, start a private sector, open it to private sector, do more beach mining, pursue thorium, but also pursue RE, and innovate with LRE. That is the second strategy. And we now come to the policy which government has made in 2025, last month, April 25, the government issued a new policy on rare earth. That means they want to create technological strength, and therefore they should have the strategy and low risk, whatever I told you earlier. USA, having realized that China has harmed Japanese requirement, they formed a China plus one strategy in June 22. They formed an alliance of 11 nations together to, as an alternative to China. Australia was there, Canada was there, European Union was there, Russia was not there. So they formed all this company alliance as an alternative to China, but India was not there. This is an important aspect. India was not included in the mineral strategy security partnership. Why? We didn't bring on the table anything. We may having beach sand, but we are not mined it, we are not processed it, we are not refined it, we have no infrastructure, no R&D. So you cannot become a partner in the 11 countries. They said, no, you don't bring anything to the table, onto the table. So you wait for some time till you set up all this capability. So India was excluded from it. Sad thing, but it happened. Then the government made a lot of efforts to have a separate MOU with USA in 2024. And this MOU was not for supplying items to you, but helping you to get supply chains. Okay, these 11 countries have got it. You take some from Australia, take some from Canada. This group will decide. And then it is almost become like nuclear fuel supply. There is a separate group on nuclear supply group, NSG, who control the entire resource of uranium, who can buy, how much can they buy, etc., depending upon how much nuclear plants they have it. There's a group which decides. Similar to that, this group is functioning, of course, excluding China from it, and they are deciding who can get the rare earth. We are not a part of it, but we have an MOU with USA saying, okay, you want this rare earth? We will tell in this group, Australia to give some, Canada to give some, somebody else to give, etc. So India's imports is at the moment, as I told you, is about 1,100 tons, which we have to import, and mostly from China. But we are in a group called Quad, Australia, USA, Japan, and us. We are the Quad for the Indo-Pacific maritime sort of initiative. And these three countries have got capability to refine and process rare earth. Anyway, we are with them, so might as well take some help from them to get rare earth or set up facilities in India. Net result is we should be able to get rare earth for our semiconductor industry, for our defense and aerospace industry. There is a country called Kazakhstan, which is rare earth rich, huge supplies, and they have been supplying to us uranium. So maybe they'll supply us rare earth also if we establish ties with them. So our strategy has to be increase domestic production, shift applications to LREE, which we have, and third, for whatever you're not able to produce in India, have less risky supply chain with the help of USA, Australia, Japan, etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the conclusions. Oh, I'm sorry. The National Critical Mission was formed in 25, and the Geological Society has been to do 1,200 explorations. Central government will have, now this is an important point, only central government will have the authority to do mining. State governments are not permitted to give mining when it is given to private sector. If you want to give to private sector, only central government. If you want to give to public sector, then state governments can give, which is what was done in Kerala. And a center of excellence will be built, and recycling is another source. Discarded equipment, you can, from that you can remove rare earth and reused. That's another option, but a small percentage will come. And of course, we are trying to buy mines abroad in other countries through a public sector formed for this purpose called Kabul. Um, Nothing much has happened except some MOU signed with Australia and Argentina. Maybe it will happen in the next 2-3 years. Now I come to the conclusions. We have been dependent on China, there's no doubt about it, even though we have sizable mineral wealth lying on our land, our earth's crust, our beach sand. Sizable amount is lying, but we have not progressed much except in the last 15 years or less than that, about 10 years plus, while the rest of the world has been progressing for the last 30 odd years. China has established a global position, which we, even though USA has formed a China plus one group to make sure that they will control the balance production, but China is already producing more than 80%. We have seen in China plus Myanmar, I've said, they got access to so much of wealth, mineral wealth, so they will continue to play a dominant portion unless a lot of other countries set up facilities, including India. IRL already talked about they need to increase their contribution more than 50% of our requirement. At the moment, it is around 50%. That also only LREs. The balance they're not able to fill up. If you want to make a MRI equipment which require HRE, RE, you have to get the MRI equipment redesigned for a LREE permanent magnet. It'll be bigger in size, perhaps. Somebody has to design it, and then that has to be manufactured. So, for many applications, HRE is required. And if you want to do that in India, we have to go back in time to design those equipment with LRE, which is what we have in plenty. As I told you, this is very crucial for energy transition and defense and aerospace equipment, etc. And let me just charge. Yes. And India's own mineral wealth is mostly monazite, which we haven't mined enough because of environmental considerations, radioactivity, etc. And on top of it, Boss wanted only thorium. So a lot of focus was on thorium extraction and thorium refining, which is required. Just for information of others, there's a program called Pavini, which is going on in Kalpakam, where we are running our first reactor on thorium. Based on all these diverse factors, government issued mining policy, which we just saw, and we hope that we'll be able to shift from a status of dormancy in rare earth, which is what the case was till 2000, and slowly become into a vibrant state in RE sector by, let us say, next 10 years, by 2035, when many of our requirements in energy transition programs will be there. Till then, we have to look at RE imports, very closely for the supply chain, and it has to mature out of very carefully nurtured foreign relations, because 50% has to come from abroad. As of now, slowly it may become Indian, and we are to depend on not one country, but on many countries which can supply small quantity to us, because we don't want to, we have to take a stand whether we are going to import from China or not. Should we move away from China for this very critical import, which is going to affect our defense, aerospace, and semiconductor programs? Ladies and gentlemen, with this, I thank you. Jai Hind. Okay, I finished my talk.